What's up, guys? Back in today with another reaction to Sentenced to Be a Hero, this time of episode 2. Episode 1 was good. I really liked the animation. The character design's really cool as well as the style. I will say on a story level wasn't the most interesting thing. Seemed very generic. Banished heroes, but we're going to be rooting for. Just kind of world building and stuff surrounding it wasn't awfully fleshed out, so I'm looking forward to maybe getting a bit more of that this episode. But as I did say, the animation and the style and the and all that kind of production stuff looked absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, interested to see where the kind of story goes. Like I said, it seems hugely generic so far, so I'm hoping it is interesting in that aspect. As you guys know, the thing I value most with anime and movies and TV stuff is the story and characters, so it's always a bonus to have some really nice animation. But I don't usually get along with shows that are purely just like great animation, like Solo Leveling, for example. Yes, it kind of seems like a revenge kind of fantasy, which about 20 come out a season. Those type of shows. But as I said, I'm looking forward to today because this will give us I think this will give us a good indication of what the story is going to be like. I may already be dead. A more hero. I don't believe we saw the opening or ending last week, right? Bit exhausted, I imagine. Exhausting, and you've got a bit of an exhausted person with you. Serpents. Half. I'll say, what a weird choice of OST playing right now. It's a nice OST, I really like it. Not sure why it's playing right now. So there's a lot of just like giving us these things right now, isn't there? Like, I don't know, it feels like they're kind of expecting us to know about this stuff. He's the oldest. He does, doesn't he? Ah. Yeah, it reminds me a bit of, I mean, bit not that similar actually, but recently played Lost Odyssey, which was really fucking good. And something akin to that with like immortal kind of soldiers um, that lost their memories, and the memories were the best part of that game, I think. Or the dreams of memories. Really flesh things out nicely. Yeah, pretty simple setup here, isn't it? But yeah, seems like it's going to be pretty simplistic in just terms of like it's not going to be too much story actually, which I don't mind. I'd rather that than they go for something crazy and don't pull it off. Seems like it's just going to be simply just helping out little refuges and such. But as I keep saying, I'm not. It's not. There's nothing awfully interesting going on so far. I do have to say. It's going to sound weird, but this place almost reminds me a little bit. I can't remember what it's called, but reminds me a little bit of that place in Full Metal Alchemist, which I don't think it was covered in Brotherhood. In the original Full Metal Alchemist, where they went to like a mining town place. It's been a long time since I watched that though. I think it was during like the span of like, episodes, somewhere around like episode 10 to like 20 or something. But yeah, it wasn't in Brotherhood, so hmm. Yeah. Aerie. Why is it spelled like that? That was cute. There's that woman. Met last week. She seemed very stubborn, so stubborn that she'd have her own people die. What is this bullshit mission with fucking digging? Oh, we're doing it. Yeah, what's actually going on here? You're a scheming bunch. We saw at the end of the last episode, these guys are a bunch of schemers, aren't they? They had him fucking. They kind of set him up a bit at the end of the last episode we saw. I mean, he did kill a goddess, but like they still had a hand to play in making sure that he would be get fucked over for that. I mean, one of the big questions was, is the production value going to stay the same? Because sometimes in the first episode, it's. I mean, I've experienced it only a few times. To be fair, it's not all that common for me, but I do know it is. It has been known to happen that the first episode is much better animated than the rest of the series, but it looks pretty much the same here, to be honest with you. Looks just as good so far. Not, I mean, this is the only action we've had, but this segment looked just as good. I mean, the only things I've ever experienced that in really is like Uzumaki, of course, is the big one. But the first episode was incredible, looked amazing, was great, and then it didn't look too good from then on. Not really sure what else, to be honest. I think there was another series, but I can't remember it. I think Ninja Kamui was similar as well or something, but I didn't watch that. I don't know. I don't feel like they're kind of. Maybe they're doing it as like as we go along, we get more, but I don't feel like the world building or like the structure to the story's been like very well solidified so far. First episode I can kind of give a pass because it was just like an action set piece to kind of get us into things, get a lot of people on board, and it worked considering the ratings for this series are very high. It inflated, I think, but I can understand why people would give it high ratings because it did look fantastic. But yeah, in terms of like the world building such so far, I kind of hope this episode would give us a bit more of that, but it's just kind of sent us on another mission which we know very little about and don't really know how it kind of impacts things and such. And I kind of get the feeling this show isn't going to be too hung up on that kind of stuff, which is a shame, I think. Again, not every series needs a good story, I guess. That is incredibly over designed. Gets the job done though, I guess. Tiny ass key. Jesus. But yeah, as I said, I mean, the people that do love this show, the animation looks just as good, so I don't think I've got to worry too much about that. I did see some people worrying about the fact that there was like, I think like 18 people like working on the animation of this episode, which I think is considered a lot or something along those lines. Not really too cleared up and stuff like that. But again, it still looks pretty much the same to me. Like, again, this might sound bad, but I don't really get. It kind of feels like we're just like really not progressing. I feel like we've had this conversation like 4 times. That conversation there really didn't mean anything. It added nothing. That just served to waste time. Okay, something's happening. So these the miners, the infected miners, I think. Like Diamond Josie. They always are. Wherever this woman is, they always are. They stop putting her in command. That girl's dad's down here somewhere. I wonder which one he is. Okay, she's actually gave in this time. Apparently not. We don't know, to be honest. Again, we really don't fuck all about any of this stuff. Is there a way? I mean, considering he killed the goddess in the backstory, I can't imagine there would be. Bit like zombies, I guess, aren't they? Bit like zombies, they're kind of already dead. You ain't gonna last long. Oh, is that her dad? I'm gonna guess that's the girl's dad. I'm right here that this also is another bit of a complaint of mine with the first episode as well. It was quite predictable, just because of the type of story it is. Priest, good are you down here? Bordeaux. That's French. Well, we know what she wants. Die. Hey, do you know what? I'm a bit surprised actually. Like, again, I heard that there was a lot of animators working on this episode, and people were worried because there was too many cooks in the kitchen. But it wasn't an awfully action-packed episode, was it? So why were there so many people working on this? Like, it looked good. There was no issue with that. But why was there so many people working on this episode specifically? Didn't seem like anything warranted that. But yeah, to be honest with you guys, I'll probably continue the show for a few episodes, but I'm not really finding too much interesting here, to be honest with you guys. The world building's not great. I don't really care about any of the characters so far. It's not too much of a story. Like, a lot of the things I highly regard in terms of what I watch, there's not much of that to be found here. Spire. Oh yeah, I forget they got a new singer, haven't they? I was like, is it Spire? They got a new singer. Even so, this doesn't sound like their new singer. Maybe they got another new singer, or maybe I just because I haven't heard too much of him. I love Spire though; they're some of my favorite openings, especially on like Gintama, IQ as well. I love Spire, but I mean that's something to look forward to. But have they changed? Have they changed singer again? Maybe it's just because again, I think I've only listened to one of their songs with their new lead singer. Unfortunately, I think their old one, something happened to his voice, I think, right? But like I said, my apologies, but that might be the most interesting part of this episode. By a new singer. Yeah, I think something happened with like his voice. I can't remember what exactly, but it's really a shame because I loved the old Spire. I really like this Spire as well, but again, not quite as much. I haven't really listened to many of their songs. So yeah, in 2023 they changed lead singer. I don't think they've changed again. Maybe it's just because I'm not, probably not familiar. I think it was the Orange for the Dumpster Barrel movie. That I think that's the only song I've heard from Spire since they changed. But yeah, massive shame to be honest because I loved. I think his name is Ike. I think it says here. Yeah, I really liked him, so that's a bit of a shame. But yeah, decent episode. Like I said, like in the terms of like the world building, story, characters, it's just like it's not that interesting to me. It's very predictable, very run of the mill. Feels like I could find this show. I could watch another 10 shows airing this season with a similar kind of premise. But just the only separating thing for this is the animation quality, which I said earlier, like I don't care as much for that as seemingly the majority of people nowadays. I said earlier about the rating of the show. The rating of the show is inflated, in my opinion, purely based off the production value. I brought up Solo Leveling earlier. It seems that the general anime fan nowadays cares much more about how it looks, how many frames there are, how good the animation looks, how smooth it is, how many fight scenes there are. And that's just, if you've watched my channel for any amount of time, you just know that I don't care as much for those things. Don't get me wrong, I like seeing them, but they're always much better when you actually care for the characters, when you care what's going on in the story, when you care what's happening to people, when people's kind of lives are on the line and such. And I can't feel any way about that because it's so early on and they haven't really even started kind of world building or anything like that, or delving into some of the mysteries or the story or some of the more interesting aspects. So yeah, honestly, this is again unpopular opinion considering the rain and such, but it's just been quite mediocre for me so far, especially in terms of like the premise and story. So I was hoping that this would be a bit more of a chill episode, so we could actually delve into maybe some of the things we saw at the end of last episode in regards to like the whole plot to make him a hero and to villainize him. But yeah, it doesn't seem like we'll actually be getting too much of focus on that. It kind of feels like I like these kind of episodes of the week type thing, but it kind of feels like we might be moving on to a different kind of dungeon or one of these I forget what they call them, but one of these kind of blight bosses every other week, which yeah, it's not something I'd be too interested in. So I might end up dropping this eventually, but I'll give it another few episodes just to give it a bit more of a chance. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this one in the comments. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you guys did enjoy it, and subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up to date. And I'll catch you next week with episode 3.